아가씨,
아저씨 이게 뭐야? Hello everybody, Agashi here today. So today I'm going to be reviewing a K-drama with you guys, and this drama is called Crash Landing on You, as everybody is waiting for it and excited for it because it is Hyun and Song Yi-jae working together, and apparently from some of the news that I read, it seems like the two were dating or something like that. I have no idea, but I don't know, my guess is probably they were just filming for it, who knows, but it's all hyped up, everybody's all hyped up for it and excited for it, and so it finally came out, and it is a Saturday and Sunday drama, a weekend drama, and it is a total of 16 episodes, and it is a Netflix original. So FYI, no promotion or sponsor to Netflix, just watching it because it's all hyped up, everybody's excited for it, and in a way I kind of like just wanted to watch it because I don't have anything to watch as of now, so it is added onto my list as all my other drama has come to an end. So today I'm going to be reviewing the cast with you guys, the synopsis, and the first 2 episodes that just came out. So, as for the cast, we have Seo Yi-jae as Yoo Se-ri, and she is a wealthy South Korean heiress who is forced to land in North Korea due to an accident while paragliding. And then we have Hyun as Ri Jung-hyuk, a skilled North Korean commission officer who hides and protects Se-ri after she lands in his country. And then Kim Jung-hyun as Gu Sung-jung, a young and rich businessman. So Ji-hae as Sordang, an inspired musician who comes from a rich family in North Korea. Oh Man-suk as Jo Cho-kang, a member of the Ministry of the People's Army's Force Security Bureau. And then we have Kim Young-man as Jung Mang-bok, Nam Kyung-yup as Se-ri's father, Park Hyun-soo as Se-ri's older brother, who is Yoo Se-hyung, and then Choi Dae-hoon as Yoo Se-jung, which is the second brother to Se-ri. And then we have Ha Suk-jin cameo as Jung-hyuk's brother, playing Ri Moo-hyuk. So for the synopsis, the series tells the secret romance between a South Korean heiress of a conglomerate and a high-ranking North Korean officer. Yoo Se-ri, who is an heiress to a rich family in South Korea, one day she goes paragliding, and an accident caused by a strong wind leads her to land in North Korea. There she meets Ri Jung-hyuk, who is a North Korean army officer. He tries to protect her and hide her identity, and soon going on as trying to help her and hide her, he falls in love with her. So, a recap of the first 2 episodes. The drama starts us off with Yoo Se-ri dating her dating scandal, where she's dating an actor, and her team is trying to cover up the scandal. But she doesn't care about it. She doesn't care that her face is blurred out in the picture. All she cared was, why didn't they show my earrings, my purse, my clothes, my shoes, and stuff like that? It's because she is a fashion person, and she's trying to promote some of the fashion and all this stuff like that. And she was just like, I don't care. Why didn't they, they can go ahead and blur out my face, but don't blur out my earrings, don't blur out my clothes and my shoes and my purse. There's a reason why I wear those in public so people can see it. It's called a promotion. So after her meeting and everything, she's on her way out. She receives a phone call from her second brother, who annoys her, and she hangs up the phone. The news shows that the president of the Queen group has been released from probation, and it turns out to be Yoo Se-ri's father. The father calls for a meeting that night for everybody to meet, as he is about to pass on the torch of who will be taking over his company. His 2 sons are trying to fight over to see who gets to take, as both sons has been involved in horrible scandals and everything like that, and their wives are trying to help them so that they get to pretty much become the next president for the company. Just then, Se-ri makes her entrance, and her father congrats her father for being released, and all she wants to say is, congrats for getting out and all stuff like that. And that's it. I don't want to have dinner with you guys. I'm just gonna leave. And her father makes the announcement that he wants her to take over the company, which upsets the brothers and the mother. She states that she will take over the company as it's her father's wish, but let her complete her recent fashion product that she's working on, as she's trying to get it to launch. After she's finished with that, she can take over and go to the stockholder meeting with her father to be announced that she's the new person to take over. She's so happy. The next day she goes paragliding, which is trying out a new sport fashion clothing. She tells her assistant how happy she is that she's going to continue climbing up higher and higher. Her assistant doesn't understand her and insists that she doesn't do the test because, what if something happens to her? What are they going to do? So he's pretty much stating, don't do it and let other people do it. But she's like, I'm going to do it anyways. I've done paragliding before. I love it. I'm going to do it. So as she does the test and go paragliding with her new fashion sport clothes, a tornado hits and she gets sucked into it. Now onto North Korea. Jung-hyuk and his team is patrolling around the borderline and hear some noises. They end up seeing some of the North Korean soldier holding certain people, and they get into debation of letting these people go and coming back to the north. Jung-hyuk gains their trust by dropping his gun first and having his team drop everything first so that South can agree and drop them. And as Jung-hyuk was going to take these people to go and get punished and all stuff like that, one of the men who doesn't want to get punished, he ends up picking the gun. Everybody starts scrambling, grabbing their guns and trying to shoot each other, stop all this stuff. But they both on South and North receive radios from their captain or commander, general, stuff like that, saying to not shoot each other and head back to base. Jung-hyuk and his team takes the 3 men back to base. There he meets the commanding officer and they talk about they were talking, and the commander officer, this is where he starts looking suspicious and he doesn't want to punish these 3 men. And Jung-hyuk was like, they should, because they've been stealing and all this stuff like that, from borders and stuff like that. But commanding officers are like, I'll deal with it, don't worry. You and your men are about to be done with your posts. So they've been watching at the borderline for the past 2 months, and now they're going to be leaving as a new team will be taking over. So the tornado has happened and it has destroyed the fence and the electric wires between both north and south right there, and they aren't working, as Jung-hyuk's team has to patrol the area until the next morning, where the new team comes, fixes that area and take over. So at the same time that is happening in South Korea, the police are searching for Seri, as her assistant is like, hurry up, find her, we cannot lose her, it's crucial and everything, she could be out there, who knows what's happening to her. And at the same time, her brothers, sister-in-laws, and they are very happy she's missing, because if they don't find her within 48 hours, they're gonna presume or go with the fact that she's probably dead. And her brothers, they're like, one of us can take over, and their wives are very happy because, they get a lot of money and everything like that. And now her mother, Seri's mother, is feeling bad. So it shows us back to when Seri left the house, the night that she came and the father announced for her to take over, the mother got upset and the mother told Seri that she shouldn't take the company because Seri chose to disown her family 10 years ago and she went off on her own. And her mother, said a lot of things to her, and she was just kind of like, I understand I did that, but in a way, you look at it, Seri did it for a good thing because she doesn't want to be like her brothers. Just look at her brothers. They're horrible, nasty people as compared to her. Yeah, she's a brat for being rich and everything like that, but she has taken on her own life, control of her own company and everything, and she's doing everything on her own. She doesn't live off her father. Basically, she's very successful, while compared to her 2 brothers who are just trying to take everything that the father makes and they don't do any good. Now the whole, all of that, the mom is regretting what she says to her daughter because now her daughter is missing. Now moving on to Sadie. She wakes up and she's stuck in a tree and she tries to make a call on her radios to her people stating that she's somewhere in a national park for them to come find her. She keeps calling for help and Jung-hyuk arrives and she sees that he is a North Korean soldier. She thinks that he is a spy and she says, just let me go. I will not reveal to anybody that you're a North Korean spy here on South Korean land. And she's able to get down and she said that she's just gonna go back home, she won't say anything. And he tells her, you're not in South Korea, this is North Korea. She's shocked and realized that she's in North Korea and she's just like, I'm not here as a spy, I'm not doing anything, I'm just gonna leave. She makes a run for it. He runs after her, tells her to stop because she's about to run into a minefield. And just when he tells her to don't move, he ends up stepping on a mine himself and he tries to radio his team to come and help him. He ends up dropping his radio, which she can pick up because she doesn't step on anything, and she won't give it to him unless he tells her the way back home. So he tells her, go straight from here and once you reach like the end of the road, it splits to two, take the right. And so she's like, okay. So she puts the radio kind of near him and then she takes off running. One of his team members actually does come, disarm the mine and saves him, and he makes a call back to base to catch the woman but don't fire. But back at base, the people are drunk and they're like hangover, so they hear, catch her, shoot her. So Sadie is making a run for her life and she doesn't listen to Jung-hyuk's words and she ends up taking the left as she thinks that he's going to lie to her. She takes the left, it's the opposite road. She ends up crossing the fence, the border and everything onto North Korea, and the team is chasing after her trying to have her stop from crossing. She ends up crossing anyways, thinking she escaped. Since they couldn't catch her, it was time for them to change team with a new team a new team will be patrolling the border now. They're kind of just like, we're just gonna act as if nothing happened, let's just go home, And Jung-hyuk goes home to find out that Sadie has entered the small neighborhood that he lives in. He ends up taking her in and helping her, and he ends up hiding her as he found her and she didn't make it home. She crossed into North Korea and now she's in North Korea. And then during that night, the three men that escaped was actually at the state security place. The commanding officer is actually working with them, or they're working for him. And then they screwed up and he ended up drugging them, throwing them to the vehicle where they were at the end of a cliff. Other vehicles came and hit them and they fell off a cliff. At the same time, a lady sees them and she's a witness to it, but that secret team, killed the lady. So it leads to the next day where Jung-hyuk's team comes and passes on the message that don't worry, that lady we were trying to find, she's actually dead, because he thinks it's Sadie. But she ends up at his house, she pops out and they're like, oh my god, she's alive and she's now in our captain's house and we can't turn her over to state security because we helped her escape and we didn't do our job correctly. That's how she was able to cross the borderline. So they have no choice but to keep her and try to find a way to transport her, as they have to wait. They're going to transport her by boat, but they have to wait until the boat comes in order to transport her so she can go back home. So as they hide Sadie in Jung-hyuk's house, they're frustrated with her because she's the high-class brat and she drives her team and him crazy. At the same time, she's frustrated living with them because there's no electricity, there's no internet, there's nothing high-class, and everything is just like back in like the 70s, 80s, and she's frustrated. So with the team trying to help Jung-hyuk hide Sadie at his house, Jung-hyuk ends up going to Pyongyang, which is the city, and we find out that he is the only son of the minister of the military, and which is bothering the commanding officer now, as we find out that Ri Moo-hyuk, which is the cameo played by Ha Suk-jin, was Jung-hyuk's older brother, and he was killed, and it has something to do with the commanding officer, as the commanding officer knew the older brother. So moving on to Jung-kyu, he has a talk with another general talking about the case of the 3 men that had just died and trying to find out who did it. And this general is saying that, are you stating that it's similar to your brother's case and that somebody killed him, you know? So basically you kind of get the idea that Jung-kyu is working in this field to kind of find out what happened to his brother, which they haven't really explained much besides showing that back when he was young, his brother was also like in the military, something like this, and his brother had passed away, and it has the commander officer knows the brother as well. Now back at home, the commanding officer came to the little neighborhood to do neighborhood to do house check, and they end up at Jung-hyuk's house, which the lights are on and he's not home. So they break into his house and find Sadie. At the same time, like, Jung-hyuk is racing home when he receives a phone call from his team that they are doing a house search and they're going to his house. And so he like races through the street of Pyongyang, and like everybody knows his license plate, which is like 729 or something like that, and it's like higher up people. So the traffic are making ways for him. They're like removing everything for him so he could just fly through, and he flew through and he made it home just in time to save Sadie as the commanding officer is about to shoot her or take her to the state security for questioning. And Jung-hyuk comes and states, she is my fiance from South Korea, and he ends up getting involved with her and saving her. Now that ends it for us for the first 2 episodes, and the previous shows, now his team and him has to fake it that she's his fiance, and they're gonna have to keep this in disguise until they can ship her off back home. So that's pretty much it. There is what is it? Who showed up? This guy. Gu Sung-jung. He's like this businessman. His parts show up here and there, which I didn't like really talk much about it because I don't know what his character is. So hopefully we'll get into it more as we watch on. But he shows up and he's trying to get into North Korea as he's hiding. First he was in like China, and now he's trying to get into North Korea, and he's this really rich person where, you know, he's going to be paying for bodyguards and a big nice home, people cooking for him, luxury meals, luxury this and this and that, and who knows who he is, but it seems like he's in some sort of scandals or some sort of fraud, and he's trying to run for it, and he needs to hide, and which is why he's gonna go choose to hide in North Korea. And Soldang hasn't showed up yet, but it seems like she's obviously Jung-hyuk has some music sheets at his house. Seems like she's probably his ex-girlfriend or a girl he likes. Who knows? We don't know. But yeah, so a lot of the other people haven't showed up besides just the Jung-hyuk and Sadie's story of how they cross over and how they meet. And they also shows us the epilogue or something like that, and the 2 of them have actually met in Switzerland. So it's like years ago. Sadie was like, she's done with life and she wanted to like die somewhere, and she ended up in Switzerland where he was also there too. So they showed this little clip where they actually were both over there and they met. So that's that. But I am going to continue watching to see how it turns out. I mean, lately, or some of the videos or movies, stuff like that I've been watching with Hyun in there, he's been playing North Korean people a lot, so it's kind of like interesting. And obviously as he got older, he's keeping his hair like military look and the shape too, so he's acting more like this. So it's actually, honestly, I'm actually interested in his type of acting this way versus his acting years ago. And it's been a while since I've seen Song Hee-jae's acting as well too. I don't remember the last drama I watched with her. I didn't watch Something in the Rain. I don't know, it was just not my cup of tea, so I didn't watch it. But I mean, that was the last drama she acted in. But other than that, I don't remember watching her. It's just been so long since I've seen her acting, but I've seen her on Running Man and all stuff like that. But yeah, I'm actually very interested to see how it turns out, as obviously we know, you know, now North and South don't get along and they're both from there. I have a feeling that they're gonna choose to both like move off to Switzerland so they can be together. That's my guess, because it does show some pictures and some scenes that they are filming in Switzerland, so I'm guessing they will end up moving there. But I'm really looking forward to how he's going to transport her out. You know, it's just something I'm interested to see how he's gonna do it. And obviously one of his team, one of the member in his team is like in love with South Korean drama, so he's always talking about how, oh, you know, this is so much like a South Korean drama. Oh, you know, you're gonna fall in love with her just because you guys are disguised that you guys are engaged, and you know, when you give her away, you're gonna fall in love with her, you're gonna miss her and all stuff like that. So yeah, it's like, you know, a South Korean drama in North Korean time. But yeah. If you guys are interested to know what happens in the ending once it comes to an end, let me know in the comments below and I will do an ending review of it. But that's it I got to say. I don't want to talk so much or blabber so much for this drama, but do hit thumbs up and subscribe to see more of this, and I will see you guys in the next drama review.